The Volvo XC60 is new for 2026. Well, kind of. In this video, I'll talk about what the changes are, how I feel about the interior space, and what it's like to drive it, so let's get started. Believe it or not, the second generation Volvo XC60 is still here and is doing better than ever. It's the best-selling Volvo in history and it surpassed the 240, so they must have done something right. And what is it? Is it the styling? Because when you look at it from the outside perspective, it still looks very fresh. I mean, the car has aged really well thanks to its classic, simple design, and the changes for 2026 are rather small. We received a new grille, new taillights, updated color and wheel options, and a new infotainment system, so very minor changes. There are also some minor mechanical changes, however, the underpinnings remain the same. This car still sits on Volvo's PA1 platform, which dates back to 2014, and that's really the only thing that shows this car's age. But let's talk about what this thing is from a technical standpoint. First, the suspension. It's a double wishbone front, multi-link in the back, combined with either non-adaptive passive dampers or an optional air suspension with adaptive dampers, which, depending on the setting, can get stiffer and softer, and same with the ride height. You can raise the car or lower it, depending on what you need. Now, we have two engine options, a 247 mild hybrid B5 and a 455 horsepower plug-in hybrid T8. One thing that always remains the same is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that sits under the hood and an 8-speed automatic transmission. The B5 is a mild hybrid using a 48-volt system that has a small battery and an integrated starter generator for smoother auto start-stop system and better fuel efficiency. The plug-in hybrid T8 is the most powerful version, pushing out 455 horsepower, and in addition to the internal combustion engine, it has a 145 horsepower electric motor that's mounted on the rear axle with an 18.8 kilowatt-hour battery pack, so that combo gives you around 35 miles of electric-only range. Fully charging the car at home using a level 2 charger takes around 5 hours. Now, all-wheel drive is standard in the XC60. The B5 gets an on-demand Haldex-based unit. In case of the plug-in hybrid model, there is no physical driveshaft. The front axle is powered by the internal combustion engine, and the rear axle is driven by the electric motor. Now, we have 3 trims to choose from. Core, starting at around $51,000, Plus starting at around $55K, and Ultra pushing more than 60 grand. If you want a plug-in hybrid, you're looking at extra $12,000. There is also a performance-oriented Polestar Engineered, which only comes as a 455 horsepower plug-in hybrid, and it has modified suspension and brakes, slightly redesigned styling, and it rivals SUVs like an Audi SQ5, BMW X3 M50, or a Mercedes GLC 43. Now, before we talk what it's like to drive this thing, let's take a look inside and discuss the interior changes. Okay, so we're inside the refreshed Volvo XC60. If you were hoping for big changes, I'm sorry to bring this to you, but there aren't any. There are 2 changes. We have a new infotainment screen and a redesigned center console. Everything remained the same, and that's a good thing. Why? Because this has been one of the best designs in car industry in years. Minus the ergonomics, but more on that in a second. When you sit behind the wheel or as a passenger, not only are you looking at a nice design, but the attention to detail is just outstanding. We have a mix of different high-quality materials like leather, soft plastics, aluminum or wood, and everything is very well put together. I mean, to this day, this is one of the best, if not the best interior in the segment of luxury compact SUVs, especially if you're looking at what BMW, Audi or Mercedes are doing. Now, as I said, there are 2 changes compared to pre-facelift models. The first one is a new infotainment system, and besides the fact that it looks like a cheap tablet from Temu, because people just need bigger screens everywhere, it works great. Volvo has improved the processing power, and the Google-based infotainment system is finally not frustrating to use. And it better not be, because you have to use it to control most of the car's functions. And I'm talking about climate, drive modes, or even the dimmer. Volvo progressively has been removing physical controls from their cars, and that's just a shame for a brand that emphasizes safety. That is just not safe. On the bright side, the gauge cluster is easy to read, and while it's not really customizable, it displays all the information you need, such as a trip computer or a navigation map. Again, we're not overcomplicating things because that's not necessary. Now, another change is a redesigned center console. It's a little bit more usable compared to the pre-facelift model, as we have a dedicated spot for our phone with a wireless charger, and from a practical standpoint, this cabin is still great. The door pockets fit a lot of stuff in them, and same with the trunk. You drop the seats and get pretty spacious cargo area. The back seat offers decent amount of space too, so 2 full-size adults or child seats should have no issues fitting back there. Plus, we also get climate vents in the middle, climate vents and B-pillars, and a couple of USB-C charging ports to charge our devices. Moving up front, the seats are simply amazing. They offer superior comfort and wide range of adjustments, and as an owner of the 2nd Gen XC60, I can assure you, you can drive this car non-stop for hours and feel fresh and fatigue-free at the end of your trip. In this top Ultra trim that we're testing, they're also heated, cooled, and have a massage, which is somewhat effective. Lastly, I cannot forget about the Bowers & Wilkins sound system. It was a highlight a decade ago when it first came out in Volvo models, and it still is, delivering an unbelievable good sound quality and offering multiple DSP modes or listening experiences. Overall, after so many years, in my eyes, this is still one of the best cabins, but is it the best driving car in the segment? Well, we're gonna find out in a minute. Let's head into our favorite back road and check it out. Well, let's talk about driving dynamics first. We do have adaptive suspension and air springs on our tester, so we're going to put the suspension feel in firm, as Volvo calls it. Steering also in firm. We have a B5 all-wheel drive powertrain, so nothing crazy. It's the entry-level powertrain, but let's see what it's capable of. Okay, one thing I must admit is that Volvo did a great job with this 2-liter 4-cylinder. First of all, the power delivery is very nice and linear. I have a T5 in a pre-facelift, 2nd generation XC60, and the engine tuning in that unit could have been better. This is much better, much smoother. It is a mild hybrid, meaning we have that integrated starter generator, and when the engine shuts off at a red light, it's super smooth. When it has to start back on, also, it does it basically seamlessly. So from an NVH perspective, noise, vibration, harshness, the 4-cylinder that Volvo created is great. Really well isolated, no issues with it whatsoever. Even the engine tone is very nice and warm, not your typical rattly 4-cylinder that Lexus has, for example. This is on another level when it comes to refinement and sound, and I know I still wish we had inline 5 cylinders under the hoods of new Volvos, but hey, it is what it is. This B5 powertrain, very great. Good on fuel economy, you can easily average low 30s on the highway, mid 20s in the city, improvement over the old T5, so no complaints. We have 8-speed AC unit on board, which isn't all that crazy. It gets the job done, it's super smooth, works great with the engine, but it doesn't even have a sport mode, which we don't need in an XC60, but just so you know, if you want something that's a little snappier, well, DSG and Audis or 8HP and BMWs are gonna be much better. Okay, we're talking about the transmission. We can put it into manual mode for a second and take some of those corners a little bit more aggressively. It's kind of interesting how you shift gears to the left, you downshift, to the right, you upshift. Well, that's just a Volvo thing. Alrighty, let's knock those corners. Despite dampers stiffening up, we can still tell that this is not a sports car, not a sport-oriented SUV. Good amount of body roll. The steering is very slow, meaning we really have to turn the wheel pretty far to get this car to steer. Oh, lots of lean, but you know what? The XC60 does stay stable. It's not like Genesis GV70, which you don't even want to try driving aggressively. This has a little bit of that European feel, which is nice, but still, if you really want to have a performance Volvo SUV, well, then the Polestar Engineering XC60 is for you. Obviously, zero feedback from the steering, and I didn't expect any because this is a normal SUV that I want to be comfortable in. Alrighty, let's stop those shenanigans. We're gonna put everything back into soft. The suspension is gonna raise itself in comfort mode. And let's talk about what it's like to live with the XC60 on a daily basis, because that's what you're going to be doing. So as an owner of the XC60, I have one big problem with this generation. Suspension tuning, especially dampers, are just terrible. The front end and back end feel disconnected. Whenever we hit any small sharp bumps, there's a lot of vibration coming through the cabin to the seat. It's not a very pleasant experience. I know our tester has 22-inch rims, but on my personal XC60 I downgraded to 19s and I'm still experiencing harsh ride quality. As long as the pavement is somewhat smooth, it's fine, but we have those like high oscillations, high frequency bumps. It feels like the entire structure is just not well put together. That's something that Volvos on the SPA platform struggled with. It's models with passive dampers, with adaptive dampers, unless you get a Polestar engineering with all-ins. I think that's the way to go with any SPA platform Volvos, because in those cars, the ride quality is actually pretty amazing and you can adjust it using the clicker. But what this car excels in is its daily rolls. It's very spacious, you feel very nice and comfortable, you feel like you drive a special car that doesn't feel generic and boring. It's a very nice warm cabin, and finally US got laminated side windows on the XC60, and the cabin isolation is also pretty good. You can do very high speeds in it in complete quietness, unless you hit a pothole, then it gets loud. But it's still an interesting proposition even in 2026. I know this car's been around for almost 80 years. It's a very long time in car industry. By that time, Audi, BMW, Mercedes released new generations of their compact SUVs, but Volvo is still going strong and I really like it. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say about this thing, so let's head into the final thoughts and summarize it. Okay, so let's sum up the refreshed Volvo XC60. It's not the latest or the greatest, and it seems like Volvo squeezed maximum out of this platform, but even in 2026, it's still a very interesting proposition. It's not the best luxury compact SUV. It doesn't ride as well as an Audi Q5. It doesn't have as good powertrains as BMW X3 does. But if you're looking something that is very subtle, that flies under the radar and is giving a little bit of that old money vibe, well, the XC60 is for you. It's still practical, it is comfortable, has one of the best sound systems in the industry, and it is pretty fuel efficient no matter if you get the B5 or the T8 plug-in hybrid. Now, as an owner of 2020 Volvo XC60, I can talk a little bit about reliability. Shockingly, my T5 all-wheel drive Inscription has been pretty trouble-free. The only issues that I faced was brakes, and that's also pretty well known with Volvos. They were prematurely, and after a year, 2 years, you have to replace your pads and rotors. It's just a bad flaw design that Volvo should have fixed with the facelift. They also should have fixed the suspension and improved the ride quality, but they haven't done it. I mean, I guess the cars are selling that well that they just didn't want to invest any money. Anyways, if you guys have any questions about the new XC60 or the pre-facelift model or the first generation, let me know and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you all later.